Hello, good evening. This is Kathy Beatty with Divorce Support Anonymous. Thank you for joining me this evening. It is Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I like to jump into your life for just a few moments to talk about what you're going through and hopefully to give you some tools, some techniques, some hope, some help to help you know that you're going to get through this and that there is life after divorce. And I want you to know that, number one. Number two, I want to show you how to do that. So as you know, if you've been listening to me for very long, I have been holding support groups for 20 years. I'm a domestic mediator and also a divorce coach, which is what I'm going to talk about tonight, actually. Before I do, I want to share with you November 18th, a new session, Building Your Life After Divorce, is going to begin 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. It will be Zoom, and I may do it hybrid, which means I have some local people who want to get together in person, but I will still have a Zoom opportunity for you. So no matter where you're at, if you have internet and you are free at 6:30, please let me know. Would love to have you join us. I love, love, love this program because we stop looking backward and we begin looking forward. And we start with a plan. And my favorite part is at the 8th week, we're together for 8 weeks. At the 8 weeks point, each of you stand up and state a new life declaration. And then we, as a loving, supportive group, ask you some clarifying questions so that you know exactly what you are stating and what you want, and you have a plan for a future. Because when we're in the middle of divorce, a lot of times we don't feel like we have a future. You do. You just can't see it right now if you're in the midst of a divorce. So anyway, contact me. I'll get a registration form. It's incredibly inexpensive. I have a workbook that I mail out to you for you to have. So let's get this healing started. Let's get this future started by November 18th. Topic tonight, what is a divorce coach? So I was asked this today, and I know I've given information in the past, but I thought, maybe time to do it again. For those of you who wonder, you hear about what's a divorce coach? What do they do? And why do I need them if I have an attorney? And is it just an additional expense? What is it? Are they a counselor? Are they a lawyer? Are they a paralegal? What are they? So I want to make that clear for you tonight, because I think it will be very helpful for you to have some clarity. And the reason I became a divorce coach is one of my main things is to guide people through the trauma of divorce and minimize the damage, because there's lots of damage. So you can read this. A divorce coach is your go-to person on divorce. They're more accessible and cost less than your attorney. Divorce coaches don't give legal advice, but they do give you advice on questions to ask the attorney or what to expect from the attorney. We talk through the experience you're going through, but also the process, what to expect, what should I ask, what's realistic, what's possible. Attorneys can be $400 to $500 an hour. Divorce costs are minimal in comparison. Again, I'm not going to give you legal advice. I'm not an attorney, but I give you the most of the information you need for the process, emotionally, legally, spiritually, and what to confirm with your attorney. That was a mouthful, I know. So I'll go through 4 points tonight to just kind of clarify that. But it's important that we have wise people around us. And this is, point number one that I want to make. You're in a territory you have never been before, and there are landmines. And for those of you who unfortunately are going through your second divorce, every divorce is a little bit different. Temperaments are different. Dynamics are different. Assets are different. So there are landmines that you can get tripped up in very, very, very easily. That could be emotional landmines, such as getting into the next relationship before you're ready. There are legal landmines. You're making the right choices. You give up too much that you shouldn't give up because you have a right to 50% of it or ownership of it if it was premarital. But there are just so many things to know. And you, quite frankly, are not in the mental state to be figuring this out. Your brain actually, you're operating on your fight flight. Your frontal cortex, which is the main decision maker, has shut down. And you literally are not physically able to do all the functions as you once did. So you need some help getting through this. Don't go through this alone. Don't go through this alone emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. Number two, the process and the paperwork are complicated. They're complicated. And so you need some guidance through that. What does this mean? What is mediation? Am I a plaintiff or am I a defendant? What does this mean? What is quadro? There's so many things in which to know. So a divorce coach directs you on how to use your attorney. So you have this question about, okay, we have a settlement conference scheduled at court. What does that mean? Now I can call my attorney and he's going to explain that to me. Or I can call my divorce coach and say, explain this to me. I don't understand what a settlement conference is. I don't understand what a quadro, whatever it is. So we can answer those questions. Now, I'm not, as stated in my earlier blurb, I'm not going to give you legal advice because that's not my role. I'm not an attorney. So you need someone who's going to guide you on how to use the attorney and to get the legal advice that you need. Your attorney's going to say, you should do this, you should not do this. Your divorce coach is going to say, ask the attorney, should you do this or should you do this? And you think, well, is that just an additional layer? No, it's not. Because if you can get that clarity from your divorce coach in answering your questions, then you may not have to go to your attorney, or when you go to your attorney, you are more prepared for that conversation. So instead of paying the $450 an hour, you can pay a divorce coach a fraction of that per hour and get the information that you need, which is my next point. A divorce coach costs 1/4, probably less than that, of what an attorney does. Now, an attorney is necessary for most cases, not all cases, but most cases. Well, no, they are necessary for all cases, just used in different ways. For example, I do mediations with people without attorneys. How I advise them is, let's come together, let's get this agreement made. Now, I want you to take it to your attorney and have them look it over and give you advice on, is this a decent deal? Am I protected here? What are the surprises that I might find? Okay, so a divorce coach can direct you in that and how to do mediation without an attorney. So almost every 99.5% of cases need an attorney. It's just a question of how are you going to use that attorney. So quick run through, where are we at? We're at almost 10 minutes. So let me just repeat these points. You're in a place you've never been before. Process and paperwork is complicated. A divorce coach directs you on how to use your attorney, and you're going to save an incredible amount of money by using a divorce coach. And they typically will charge you by the hour. But, with the folks that I work with, they can shoot me a text or they can have a quick phone call or an email, and I don't charge for that. Your attorney, on the other hand, is going to charge for every single text, every email, every phone call. So there you have it. So I have some verses here because I was thinking about all the wisdom that you need in going through divorce. There's a lot of wisdom and discernment that you need right now. You're making decisions that are going to affect the rest of your life. So you need some help. You need some wisdom. You need some counselors. So scriptures have some, I've got like 4 verses here. I know it's a lot of verses, but I think they're just so good. The book of Psalms is the book that understands what you're going through, but it also gives some words of wisdom. For by wise guidance you will wage war. Sorry, I don't want your divorce to be a war, and it does not have to be a war. But let's look at the next part. And in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. There is safety. Another beautiful verse, where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Once again, Proverbs. Listen to advice and accept instruction that you may gain wisdom in the future. Again, Proverbs, the book of wisdom. So you have to be careful making sure that you are listening to the correct advice and to good people, and the instruction is correct. But that's when it comes to, the next verse. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, but in all ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. I have seen so many times the wisdom of God when people really submit to God and give over to God the situation that they're dealing with. Now, that does not mean that they don't seek out wise counsel. But it does mean that they have faith to believe that God is the foundation of wisdom. And we cannot understand all that's going on with us right now. We can't understand our mind, our heart, the process, this person who now has become an unsafe person to us, who once we lived with in intimacy. It's a wild world. In going through this, you need wisdom. You need safe people around you. So I hope that answers and explains a little bit about what is a divorce coach. If you have further questions, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to speak with you on it. So just one of the options that are out there. I hope it's of help. My name is Kathy Beatty, and I am with Divorce Support Anonymous, walking with you every step of the way through the trauma and after the trauma of divorce. Have a good evening.